Our hope is this month is that by clipping some of our favorite parts of different topics, that it might take you to a direct episode that's going to really work with what you need and where you're at.
Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started.
Hi, Be It Babe. Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview. Not recap, but episodes recaps. What are we doing here? Well,
we're changing it up.
We're changing it up for December, and we're figuring it out as we go along. But actually, the team has prepared really epic episodes for you for all month long. And today's episode is some of our favorite relationship episodes. So we're actually going to have 4 different clips for you from some of our favorite guests who have something to say about relationships.
Yeah. So we're going to dig in.
So whether you're single or not, there's actually probably a clip in here for you. And we know that I mentioned this is episode 457, which means there's a couple hundred episodes of interviews. And if you just are joining us now, you might not have listened to all of those. So what our hope is this month is that by clipping some of our favorite parts of different topics, that it might take you to a direct episode that's going to really work with what you need and where you're at. So today's episode is on relationship, but we'll have grief, we'll have divorce, we'll have masculine and feminine energy guests. We actually have one about narcissism. So, relationships is a broad topic. So you can be single or in a relationship, and you could be super happy and still have some clip in here that might resonate with you. So here we go. All right, loves, our first clip we have for you is from our guest, Renee Bauer, back in episode 217. The topic is on divorce, and one of the parts I really loved, and I want you to hear, is about just owning it.
Yeah, and the second part that we really liked in this episode was about finding your tribe. So here we go.
I had gone on a friend's podcast and she said, I'm going to interview you. I'll bring sushi over. We'll have a couple martinis. It'll be all good. So she did that. I'm like, oh, sushi. Okay. I'm in. We poured the martini. She clipped on the mic and she started asking me about my divorce. And maybe I was a little buzzed, but I actually started answering really honestly. And when that episode came out, people had reached out to me to say, like, hey, that was my story too. Thank you for speaking so vulnerably about it. And that's when I realized I need to talk about this and not be ashamed about it. And so now it's like, it's second nature to be like, yeah, I'm divorced twice. So what? And so it was sharing it. And I think so often people don't want to share that. And they're almost like apologize. It's like, the whisper, like, oh, I'm divorced or I'm twice divorced. And it's like, just own it. Be like, you know what? I was in 2 relationships that didn't work out. And I made the brave decision to leave that because I wanted more from our family, for us, for our kids. And, that's okay. Find your tribe, find a support system that may not include friends and family. So those people who are around you now, they're really well-intentioned, but they may not be the best person to go to. So find a community of people. And there's so many of them out there in this world. And like I have a private Facebook group for divorced women, but find a really positive tribe of people who get what you're going through so you don't feel so alone in it.
All right, so now we're going to talk about the topic of grief. And Krista St-Germain from episode 235, one of the most beautiful episodes we have. Honestly, I actually think about this episode a lot because we happen to lose people in our lives all the time. But this particular one was about how she lost her spouse. And she talks about the emotional freedom technique. And I think this is a really cool technique that we can all use no matter where we are in our lives. So
yeah, that's EFT if you're not familiar.
Yeah, tap away.
This was hard for me because I have lots of ideas. And so I'm just going to go with one. So I'm a big fan of tapping, emotional freedom technique. So thankfully, I had tapping in my pocket before my husband died. I already knew how to do it, and I knew how, and I had used it with my children when they were very little, and they were 12 and 9 when Hugo died. So they had used it for a number of years. But I love tapping because it creates calm in the nervous system, and it allows us to let feelings flow through. It's great for grief grenades, right? Any sort of triggering situation where our nervous system is responding as though we are unsafe. So for me, the sound of metal crashing, CPR scenes, sirens, right? Things like that. Tapping helped me in the moment when my nervous system was just tripping out. And then it also helped me to work with someone who could help me go back and neutralize those triggers so that when I remembered them or encountered them in my environment, my nervous system stopped thinking I was in danger, right? So I am a big proponent of that. You can just go to YouTube and learn all about tapping, right? You don't have to pay anyone to teach it to you.
All right, y'all. I hope you found that super helpful and calming. EFT, the tapping technique, to be able to pull out that tool and use that when you need it. All right, next up, we got episode 268 with Rebecca Zung. We are going to slay your way out of a narcissist, okay?
Yeah. This is like when Rebecca agreed to be on the pod, I was like, this is amazing. This is what all of our listeners need. And something that I think is, if you love this clip, I really hope you go back and listen to the full episode because it will give you a lot of empowerment.
Yeah.
If you are someone who's like, narcissists always find me, you will hear why they find you.
Yeah. And I think there's a key in this, and it's value. And this hit home for me in a very real way. So this is a very powerful clip, and the episode is amazing. So here we go.
And I always remind people, they don't attach themselves to you because you have so little value. They attach themselves to you because you have so much value, even though they're devaluing you right away. They look for someone who's going to be a great source of supply for them, whether it's making them look good or giving them, their ego looks good because they're with you, or you're going to be a great business partner for them because you're going to feed them a lot of things, or you're going to be a great romantic partner because you're either going to give them lots of adulation, or you look good on their arm, or you have lots of money, or whatever it's going to be, right? So they look for someone who's going to feed something within them because they're so empty inside.
All right. So that was episode 268. Definitely go back and listen to that if you find narcissists have been finding you. Our last clip that we want to put in this relationship special is episode 280, Create More Harmony in Your Relationship with Kelly Adame Williams. We love Kelly Adame. We had so many people tell us how epic. She had 2 episodes on the podcast, actually, and I really, really enjoyed it. But the first one was really about kind of giving us permission to understand what we need and who we are, and also what we're saying yes to. So here is episode 280 with Kelly Adame.
So I tell women, like, this is a good practice. Like, don't do something. Ask yourself, does this feel good to me? And if it doesn't, the answer is no, thank you. We're also so conditioned to say yes and to just do it. But then we can be resentful about that. Then we can be passive aggressive about that. Then we can feel like, well, you owe me because I did this. No, you weren't clear with you first. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
That's the whole thing. To be in healthy relationship, you have to be able to take personal responsibility for your behavior, your actions, your words. But you also have to know what you're feeling.
Well, I hope this is really fun for you. I know that this is a very different way of the Be It Pod going, but our goal here is to, one, help you figure out which episodes in the past catalog might be helpful for you, but also just highlight some of our favorite takeaways, especially as the end of the year is here. There's so much chaos. Sometimes we need reminders of what we learned so we can take that information and take the next steps in our life to be it till we see it.
If you enjoyed this, let us know. We actually need to know if you dug the change up today.
Yeah. If you hated it, you can send us a message. If you loved it, you can leave a review. That's your Christmas present to us. Or I heard a podcast say, still give us 5 stars, but then you can tell us you didn't like it in the room. That's fine. But the 5 stars is important.
Well, thanks for listening, y'all. And stick around. We've got a couple more fun episodes for you this month that are in a similar vein as this one.
Yeah, we're going to do our favorite health episodes. And we're going to do, I think, our business tip ones.
Yeah, we got favorite tips. Bold moments.
So
favorite biz tips.
You know what? You're just going to really enjoy
cool advice.
This whole month. It's just it's a potpourri.
Oh, and then we have a special one on the 31st.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I tell them?
I think you might as well hint at it at least.
Because I just interviewed them.
Yeah.
We're going to get your astrology reading for 2025 from the Mom and Me astrologers, Kate and Mary Swick. So don't skip ahead. You can't because it won't go to the 31st, but also don't wait till it comes out. You got to listen to all of these little roundups that we've got for you. I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, you know what to do. Be it till you see it.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day.
Be It Till You See It is a production of the Bloom Podcast Network. If you want to leave us a message or a question that we might read on another episode, you can text us at +1 310 905 5534 or send a DM on Instagram at BeItPod.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
It is transcribed, produced, and edited by the Epic team at Disenyo.co.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all of our content to our website. And finally, to Meredith Root for keeping us all on point and on time.